Welcome back to Drug Talk, everybody. In today's video, I want to quickly go over 3 things you should probably be aware of before using gabapentin or Neurontin. Number 1, when you start using gabapentin, you may experience dizziness or somnolence. Somnolence is a strong desire to fall asleep or sleeping for unusually long periods of time. In terms of percentages, adults experience dizziness 28% of the time. It occurs a little less frequently in adolescents, occurring in about 17% of patients. And pediatric patients only experience dizziness about 3% of the time. Somnolence is similar in that it affects older patients more frequently. Adults experience it 21% of the time, and adolescents run a risk of 19%. For pediatric patients, it occurs in 8% of patients. Because of these 2 side effects, it's a good idea not to do things like drive an automobile or operate heavy machinery just after your first couple of doses. It's best practice to wait until you have a good idea of how the medication affects you and your level of alertness. If the dizziness persists and begins to affect your activities of daily living, it's worth having a conversation with your prescriber. They may choose to change your treatment and offer you a new medication or alter the dose that you're taking. Number 2, this medication is on what's called the Beers criteria. The Beers criteria is a list of medications that healthcare providers use to assist them in safely prescribing medications to patients older than 65 years. Using this list as a reference, prescribers would try to limit the use of gabapentin in this population or avoid it altogether. Having said this though, clinical experience of the prescriber plays a key role in making the decision on whether or not to give gabapentin to a patient greater than 65 years of age, and some patients will use it. There are several reasons why gabapentin falls on the Beers criteria list, but one of them is related to the first point we discussed. We now know the rates in which gabapentin causes dizziness. Dizziness can sometimes lead to falls, and in the older populations, falls can sometimes lead to fractures. So we want to avoid this from occurring whenever feasibly possible. And number 3, gabapentin may cause a disturbance in thought or suicidal thoughts. A disturbance in thought or disturbance in thinking is quite rare, happening in only 2 to 3% of patients. This could affect how thoughts are organized or expressed. It causes disorganized thinking and changes the way people express themselves when both speaking and writing. For your information, formal thought disorder is also known as disorganized speech. It should be noted that this disorder in thinking could affect different patients in different ways. Unfortunately, I don't have a percentage in how many patients will experience suicidal thoughts using gabapentin, but because of this possibility, you can expect to be monitored for changes in mood or suicidality during visits to your physician for follow-up appointments or visits to the pharmacy when you go to pick up a refill. If you do experience changes in mood or suicidal thinking, it's a good idea to keep a journal so you have concrete information to share with your provider to best assist them in making an informed decision of how to move your treatment forward. That's all we're going to talk about today with gabapentin or Neurontin, but before you take off, I wanted to quickly let you know that you can pick up a copy of my book, The 5th Episode, Inside the Manic Mind, by clicking on a link in the description of this video. This book discusses my experience with bipolar disorder. That's it for today. Take care.